What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the MaddenBallerz YouTube channel and our Cleveland Browns franchise. Year 2 is over. The Browns didn't make the playoffs, but we're here to take a look at the Season 2 stats. We're going to look at player stats, team stats, then we'll look at the awards as well. So let's go ahead and get into it. It was a pretty good season, improved by 4 wins this year, 7-9 on the season. Let's take a look at those individual stats first. And we'll take a look at the passing game here. Kirk Cousins, the leading passer on the team as far as rating goes, with a 75.7. He had 1,527 yards, 6 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Neil Gordon behind him, who was the starter for most of the year. He had just under 2,000 passing yards, 9 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. Manziel got in there for a few snaps. No touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Let's take a look. 83 was the long pass for Cousins, 59 for Neil Gordon. Cousins sacked 22 times. Gordon sacked 28 times. So sacks and interceptions are a big thing here. Completion percentage, 58% for Cousins, 55 for Gordon. Yards per attempt, you have that there. Yards per game and games played. Let's move on to the running game now. And this is where we excelled. Terrence West, 1,500 yards exactly on the year. 342 carries. That averages out to 4.4 yards per carry. We'd like to see that over 5, but not bad. He averaged 93.8 yards per game. He had 9 touchdowns. Taylor Estes, the rookie, 78 attempts on the year, 251 yards, just over 3 per carry. 9 touchdowns, though. That is big. Neil Gordon had a rushing touchdown as well as Kirk Cousins and Johnny Manziel, and no one else, I believe, on the team, though. Let's take a look here, though. Fumbles. No fumbles from West. 1 by Estes. Broken tackles there, you see. And yards after first hit, 303 for Terrence West. 6 runs of 20 yards or more by Terrence West. 1 by Taylor Estes and 1 by Neil Gordon, surprisingly. Longest run was 31. 21 for Estes and 21 for Neil Gordon. And we'll move on now to the receiving game. And Josh Gordon reeled in 61 catches, 692 yards, 1 touchdown on the year. That is disappointing for your number 1 receiver. Charles Johnson, though, was big. 58 receptions, 3 less than Gordon, but he had almost twice the yards. 1,111 yards, 69 yards per game. 5 touchdowns for him. Brian Hartline, he was big this year. 39 catches, 1 touchdown, 443 yards receiving. Estes, he was big in the receiving game as well. 34 catches, 451 yards, 5 touchdowns. This rookie had 14 touchdowns this year. In his rookie year, 14 touchdowns between receiving and running. That is big. Joseph Fourier, he was our number 1 tight end. Only 1 touchdown, only 402 yards receiving. Terrence West on there as well, 23 catches. Brady Blake, he got the start in the final 2 games of the regular season. He was big 11 in those games. 11 catches, 142 yards and a touchdown. Jim Dre had a touchdown. And there are the rest of your receiving stats. I just want to look at Charles Johnson here. As far as run after catch, 414. And his long was 83. He had, I think, all 5 of his touchdowns maybe were over 50 yards. Let's take a look at the defensive stats now. And we will see that Tayshaun Gibson led the way with tackles, 150 tackles. Probably not good that your free safety led the way in tackles. Dante Whitner, second with 120, and Carlos Dansby with 107. Barkevius Mingo with 92, and Cavell Connor, he was big as well. 92 tackles for him. Tackles for loss, that goes to Mingo with 18, Paul Kruger with 16, and Connor with 15, Dansby with 11. Who led the way with sacks? That was Mingo as well. 10.5 sacks 4, Barkevius Mingo, Paul Kruger 8.5, and no one else over 5, Shelton with 3, and there you go down the list. So not that bad with sacks. Interceptions, we were a ball hog here. Joe Hayden had 7 interceptions, Kawan Williams 6, Cavell Connor 4, Bakari Rambo 4, Whitner 3, and Tremont Williams 3, along with Tayshawn Gibson, and on down the list. One thing I want to try to get better at is forced fumbles and fumble recoveries. We only had 3 forced fumbles and 1 recovery. Barkevius Mingo with that forced fumble and that recovery. So I'd like to get better with that. Pass deflections, it was Joe Hayden with 3 and Cavell Connor with 3 as well. So there you go, the individual stats. Well, let's look at the kicking here. Carry, Spear, 33 field goals made, 37 attempted, 89%. His long was a 54, so he could improve in that aspect. Punting, we have Andy Lee here, 71 punts. How many inside the 20? None of them blocked. 21 of those inside the 20. Kick return, let's take a look at this real quick. Justin Gilbert came up big in a couple instances. He had 2 kickoffs returned, 4 touchdowns. Punt returns, Danny Amendola, no punt returns for touchdowns. I believe that's all the individual stats. Let's take a look at team stats now. And we'll start with the offensive side. Total offensive yards, it's the Chiefs with 9,200 total offensive yards, or total yards. Offensive yards, Chiefs 7,200. Who led the league in passing? The Packers with 5,100. We're not up there, obviously. We're probably towards the bottom, and we are. Bottom 5, it looks like. Rushing the ball, we've got to be towards the top here, somewhat. Seahawks, over 2,700 yards rushing. Where did we end up? Middle of the pack here, just over 2,000 yards. Points per game, it was the Cowboys, 34.9. And I believe we ended up scoring middle of the pack, probably the bottom half. It looks like 23.3. So that is an improvement over last year when we averaged, I believe, 17 points per game. Passing touchdowns. The Browns, 15 passing touchdowns, 21 rushing touchdowns. It was the Cowboys with 42 passing touchdowns, and the Chargers with 34 rushing touchdowns. First downs, it was the Packers with 341 first downs. And we'll move on to defense now. And total defense, it was the Seahawks with the #1 total defense. Who was the best passing defense? Seahawks. And the best rushing defense, looks like it is the Chiefs. And the Browns end up where in this list? 3,400 passing yards given up, just under 2,000 rushing yards given up. We need to really work on the rushing game. Points, we allowed 389 points per game, or not points per game, total. So where does that rank us? Well, that ranks us in the top, I'd say 10 or 12 there. It was the Seahawks giving up 324. Who led the league in sacks? That was the Ravens. And how did we do? I think we were in the bottom half here, and yes, we were with 35. And it was the Redskins, or Colts there with 23. And we'll go over to fumble recoveries. We were last with that 1 fumble recovery, but I believe we're going to be first here in interceptions, and we are by a big margin. 35 interceptions. Seahawks second best with 24. And conversion-wise, third down conversion, who had the best conversion rate? We had the second worst at 40%. That's not good. The best goes to the Chiefs at 57. Fourth down, we are at the bottom, maybe? No, we might be at the top here. Seahawks 0. They didn't even attempt one. 20% for the Bengals. And we are in the top 10 here, 58%, converting 7 of 12 fourth down conversions, 2-point conversion percentage, 75% for us. And red zone efficiency, it is the Redskins, 87%. We rank, looks like, in the middle of the pack, maybe the top half of the pack here, 82%, so not bad. Defensive red zone, second, 88%, not bad. That might not be bad, unless the higher number is bad. I'm not sure on that one. And we look at penalties. 121 penalties for the Dolphins leads the way. We had the least at 57, so we have the least amount of penalty yards. 519, Dolphins with 1,087. Wow. And we go to turnovers here, which we already looked at, really. We gave the ball away 31 times. We took the ball away 36 times, so +5 in takeaways. Need to work on that a bit. And let's see, fumbles, are they going to have fumble recoveries? No. So that is it for team stats. Let's go look at the player awards and find out who the MVP was. And we want yearly. We'll take a look at the NFL, and your MVP is Aaron Rodgers. Roethlisberger second, Stafford third, Drew Brees fourth, and Russell Wilson fifth. Coach of the year goes to Pete Carroll, 3-13 Seahawks. Jason Garrett and the Cowboys, he gets second. Rivera third, Tomlin fourth, and Andy Reid fifth. We did not even make this list. I don't think we're even going to make that list. So we move on to, let's start with the NFC. Offensive player of the year goes to Matthew Stafford. Aaron Rodgers second. Defensive player of the year goes to Bobby Wagner. Zach Brown second from the Vikings. Offensive rookie of the year goes to Ricky Benjamin of the Redskins. He was pretty good in that game when we played against him. Josh Falk second. Defensive rookie of the year goes to Billy Powell of the Saints. Javonte Mack from the Rams, second place. Best quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. Best running back, Giovanni Bernard from Chicago. Best wide receiver, Des Bryant. Calvin Johnson, got to mention him. He's second. Best offensive lineman, Zach Martin from the Cowboys. Best D-line, Michael Bennett of the Seahawks. Best linebacker, Bobby Wagner from the Seahawks. Best defensive back, Marcus Burley of the Panthers. Best kicker, Adrian Boyce of the Packers. And there you have it, the NFC awards. Let's take a look at the AFC awards. And your offensive player of the year goes to Ben Roethlisberger. Alex Smith second. Defensive player of the year, Jared Mayo of the Patriots. Offensive rookie of the year goes to Martavius Barksdale of the Colts. It does not go to Taylor Estes. He comes in third. Carson Beatty of the Jaguars comes in second. And we have two in the top six. Neil Gordon comes in sixth. So two in the running. I'm surprised Estes did not get that. I have to look at Barksdale's stats to see how he did. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Asher Givens. Do we have anybody on the list? We did not. Best quarterback, Roethlisberger. Alex Smith second. Best running back, Jamal Charles. Terrence West comes in second. Jamal Charles must have had a beast of a year. Terrence West comes in second. He obviously had his best year in his career. And Estes not on that list. Best wide receiver, Michael Floyd of the Jaguars. I don't see anybody from our team on this list. Best offensive lineman, Marshall Yanda of the Baltimore Ravens. Down there at fifth is Joe Thomas. Best defensive lineman, Cameron Wake of the Dolphins. No one from the Browns on that list as well. Best linebacker, Jared Mayo of the Patriots. And finally, or not finally, best defensive back, Jimmy Smith. Joe Hayden, 2nd. We just can't get there. Kawan Williams, 7th on this list. So we have some good defensive backs. Though we're not being recognized here. Justin Tucker, the best kicker from the Ravens. And Kerry Spear on that list at 9. And there you have it, the awards for the AFC. So there you have it, guys. The awards and the season and team stats for the offseason. Team and individual stats for the offseason. The offseason will be upcoming. Not sure if I'm going to live stream it or not. Let me know down in the comment section if you want to see that offseason live streamed or not. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video and share it. Hit that subscribe button if you're new and are excited for year 2 offseason. And as always, you can follow me over on Twitter at MaddenBallerz, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode.